My name is Mike. I'm a professor for social management, and you are listening to Managing Around, the podcast about social sciencing and magic managing. Hello, and welcome to Managing Around, the podcast about social sciences, culture, and management. As classrooms around the world usher in modernity and indeed the future of education, teachers everywhere are grappling with the new hybrid teaching model, which is useful for blending online and offline elements to support the inclusion of the students who can't be physically present, and seeking support. With the start of the new school year, many of us have to develop their teaching design. In today's episode 12, we will talk again about the Hyflex model. If you want to learn more about this teaching approach, stay tuned. The purpose of this podcast is to create a useful resource for teachers, lecturers, seminar tutors, and other educators who need a helping hand coming to terms with the new way of teaching. So we'll be looking at a more practical approach to designing your Hyflex model today. First, we will talk about what is the teaching normal. Is there a teaching normal? The education experience from the earliest age through to completing postgraduate degrees is hardly typical. Each student is going to have their own unique experience, and teachers will agree that there is no such thing as a normal. Whilst a reliance on educational technology is a new development for educators, such a shift is hardly surprising and should be encouraged to help fully integrate remote and in-person students. This brings us to our second topic today: what is the modern or the contemporary classroom? In order to facilitate the connection between your present and remote students, you are going to need some technical equipment that is put in working order. In your classroom, ensure to provide the following 5 things. First, you actually need 2 large screens, one at the front for the students and one at the back for the teachers, so everyone can see each other. Second, the ability to record the session with a wide-angle webcam and a microphone which is connected to your recording software and computer. Third, laptops with microphones and webcams for yourself and for your students. Fourth, a virtual meeting software installed on all devices in the classroom so that the feature to raise the hand could be used, and the chat room functionality is available too. Fifth, a virtual whiteboard that can be used by both sets of students to display your slides and the picture gallery. It is always good to have a media assistant who takes control of the equipment in the room, especially while recordings and to prepare students before the lesson. With other words, students must be able to work and interact with people who participate in the class and via remote learning facilities. Now let's come to our third and last point today: how to develop a digital first mindset, which is necessary to design a hybrid learning environment. When preparing your teaching material, you should adopt a digital first mindset and ensure the experience is consistent for both your students in class and for all the other students who are remotely connected. Modern educational platforms such as Moodle or others allow for the creation of course material that can be shared as links, viewed via browsers on the students' laptops, and which offer breakout functionality so that you can split the class into small working groups. It is always useful to ensure that students have the ability to write up notes and save or email them, as well as sharing other resources such as videos and photos. When giving a presentation or inviting a guest speaker to talk to your class, ensure that there is space on the slides for the faces of your students who will be dealing in, and have the ability to ask questions and engage in a dialogue with the speaker. So, we are almost at the end of this episode today. Here are some useful tips which could help you to prepare even further. First, be ready for adjustments. Despite all careful preparation, there could be many technical challenges during class. Second, consider asking other teachers for help, setting up and for testing your classroom before the lesson starts, and also offer to help with theirs. You will learn a lot. Third, test and retest your technical equipment before you go live. There are so many difficulties that need to be mastered. Fourth, arrive early before the course starts to help students as they arrive. So, thank you for listening today this episode. Before you go, please let me know what are your thoughts and experiences on hybrid teaching. You can send an email to hi@profmanagement.de. Send me an email to hi@profmanagement.de or send me a direct message in Twitter to my handle @profmanagement. Thanks again for listening to this podcast today and hope to see you in the next episode. If you liked this episode, please leave a review on the Apple's podcast website. If you are not using an iPhone, there's a link in the show notes. If you've got any ideas or thoughts on this episode, or if you've got an idea about new podcast topics or questions you'd like to discuss, send an audio file or voice note to hi@profmanagement.de. For any non-audio comments, drop a tweet or a DM to @profmanagement on Twitter, please. Thank you for listening and see you next time.